Lung cancer. It's responsible for 28% of all cancer deaths. That's more than breast, prostate, and colon cancers all combined. In this chart, you can see the incidence distribution of these 4 leading cancer types. Note that both breast and prostate cancer are more common than lung cancer. Now, look at the death distribution, and pay special attention to lung cancer. It's responsible for nearly 60% of these deaths. And this is for 2 reasons: the mammogram and the prostate exam. These 2 exams provide early detection, and early detection saves lives. My name is Byron Donaldson, and we are VOC Diagnostics. We present to you VitaLung, a lung cancer diagnostic aid that can be for lung cancer what the mammogram is for breast cancer. VitaLung is the result of 3 years and nearly $1 million of research. A multidisciplinary team from the University of Louisville combined innovations in engineering, chemistry, and biomarker research to create this patent-pending device that can save 130,000 lives and over $2 billion annually within the U.S. alone. And none of this would be possible without Champ, our very special contributor. Yes, Champ's a dog. But numerous studies have shown that dogs have the ability to detect lung cancer by simply smelling a person's breath. Now, don't be nervous next time your neighbor's dog sticks its nose in your face. These studies only involve highly trained animals. However, it's the science behind this research that is so intriguing. It turns out that the dogs are smelling the minute changes in the volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, within the person's breath. To lung cancer, it creates a specific VOC signature the dogs can pick up on. In VitaLung, it works in much the same way, only better. By capturing these same VOCs, VitaLung can accurately and non-invasively diagnose a person with lung cancer. VOC analysis has proven effective in the diagnosis of tuberculosis, diabetes, and heart disease. And there's numerous research projects that prove the correlation between lung cancer and these breath compounds. So VitaLung, it takes this proven science and applies patent-pending advancements to research and technology to create this accurate, non-invasive diagnostic aid that also provides early detection. And we know that early detection is critical. Unfortunately, most lung cancer patients aren't diagnosed with lung cancer until they start to exhibit symptoms. And at this point, they are in stage 3 or stage 4, where their chance of survival beyond 5 years is less than 20%. But this is where VitaLung can make its impact. Had the patient been screened using VitaLung, their cancer could have been identified at its earliest stage, where their chance of survival with proper treatment is around 80%. So our goal is simple. It's to reduce lung cancer mortality by making VitaLung a critical element in the annual exams for the millions of people who are at high risk for lung cancer. So now that you understand the background of VitaLung, I'd like to introduce you to Justice Zills, the Chief Marketing Officer, to explain to you how VitaLung works. Justice?
Thanks, Larry. So you may be wondering, how do the volatile organic compounds in a person's breath change as a result of lung cancer? On a molecular level, the lung cancer outgrows its oxygen supply. This creates a hypoxic region. In this region, the tumor eats the cells and tissues and excretes abnormal levels of certain volatile organic compounds. So how do we capture these VOCs? If a person is deemed to be at high risk of lung cancer, they will first breathe into a 1-liter medical gas sample bag. This bag is then dated and shipped to a lab where it is pushed across our VitaLung chip. VitaLung captures these VOCs and is analyzed using a mass spectrometer that identifies the types and concentration of the VOCs. This VOC pattern is then compared to our proprietary pattern linked to lung cancer, and a diagnosis can be determined. These results are then sent back to the patient's provider, who then meets with the patient to discuss results and determine the proper follow-up. Now let's talk about our target market. Of the US population, there are over 94 million people at high risk of lung cancer. This is potentially an $18.8 billion market opportunity. However, our initial target end user will be the 7 million at greatest risk, as identified by the American Lung Association. The demographics of this classification are the 55 to 74-year-old 30-pack year smokers. So why now? The recent results from the National Lung Screening Trial, which is the largest trial to date conducted by the National Cancer Institute, show that a lung cancer screening program can reduce lung cancer mortality by 20%. These results have led the National Comprehensive Cancer Network to strongly recommend lung cancer screenings to those at high risk. Additionally, helping to validate VitalLung's market acceptance, WellPoint, a national insurer, has approved lung cancer screenings for reimbursement. Other insurers are following suit. So now let's talk about the competition for the initial screening of lung cancer. The initial competition comes from low-dose CT scans, PET scans, and MRIs. All of these methods are accompanied by serious risks, including radiation exposure, high false positive rate, reader error, and a later detection of cancer. Our primary competition of these is the low-dose CT scan. Today, if you were to have a low-dose CT scan, you would lie on a cold, hard platform where you're zapped with enough radiation to take months off your life. Not to mention, radiation can also cause cancer. And if they do find a mass, there's a 96% chance, that's right, a 96% chance that it's not even cancerous, leading to further unnecessary cost, tests, and anxiety. All of these methods detect lumps. VitalLung detects cancer. With VitalLung, a patient simply breathes into a medical gas bag. VitalLung is much less expensive, but more importantly, early human testing shows it to be over 85% accurate with a false positive rate of less than 10%. VOCs have also proven to provide early detection, up to 10 days before the cancer cells are visible to the naked eye. Now this is critical because the current devices used for lung cancer screening rely on that visible evidence for diagnosis. VitalLung will replace these current methods and become a critical element in the annual exams for the millions of people at high risk of lung cancer. So now that you have a better understanding of our competition and market, I'm going to hand it over to JD Eddington, our COO, to further discuss our IP. JD?
Thank you, Justice. We currently have an exclusive option to license the technology behind VitalLung from the University of Louisville. We have a patent pending that covers the micro pre-concentrator, which we also refer to as the chip, the chemical reactive coating, and the biomarker pattern linked to lung cancer. This coating creates a chemical reaction with the compounds in the breath, allowing VitalLung to capture VOCs in parts per trillion. This is far more sensitive than other micro pre-concentrators. Basically, the more sensitive, the more accurate. Other micro pre-concentrators can detect on a parts per billion basis, so we are orders of magnitude better. Additionally, the biomarker pattern that we are looking for revolves around 20 compounds that are created organically within the body, thus eliminating the need to test the ambient air for each patient. For providers that lie outside the reference lab network, we will provide prepaid shipping labels so that they can simply ship the sample off to a reference lab for analysis. Although we will position ourselves for acquisition at a number of critical milestones, we understand that we must be prepared to execute a sustainable business model. Sales will be outsourced to oncology sales networks and group purchase organizations. These organizations combined will allow us to reach more than 90% of primary care physicians and clinics. This equates to more than 375,000 buyers. This bar chart illustrates the cost components as they relate to the sale price of VitalLung. Of these components, there are two that are critical to manufacturing: the chip and the gas sample bag. The chip is a common mechanical-grade silicone wafer. It's then etched, diced, and coated in our proprietary chemical salt. The gas sample bag and valve are leak-proof design, ensuring the integrity of the sample throughout the shipping process, and this is common equipment. Our cost is approximately $40 per test, which we'll sell to providers for $200. Now that we've discussed some of the technology behind VitalLung, let me introduce you to our management team. Dr. Sean Fu is our Chief Scientific Officer, one of the co-inventors of VitalLung, and he's an integral part of our team, although he couldn't be here today. Byron Donaldson is our Chief Executive Officer, and he has a background in strategy and risk analysis from JPMorgan Chase. I'm JD Eddington, the Chief Operations Officer, and I have a background in operations and engineering from the U.S. military. Nick Muscat is our Chief Financial Officer, and he's led more than $2 billion in healthcare mergers and acquisitions at Humana. Justice Zills is our Chief Marketing Officer, and he has a background in health and sports science and marketing from ECS Inc. We've also assembled an elite board of advisors. Among them, Pascal Deschalets is the founder and COO of Apellis Pharmaceuticals, and he's taken multiple pharmaceutical startups through the FDA approval process with successful sales. In addition, we have a number of key partnerships. New Century Health is an oncology benefits manager that has already agreed to recommend Vitalung as the first line of lung cancer screening to oncologists in their network upon FDA approval. The current human efficacy trial is being conducted at the University of Louisville with the help of the James Graham Brown Cancer Center and Jewish Hospital. Finally, the Emergo Group is our third-party FDA process approval vendor, and they're going to help us navigate the FDA. Now I'll turn it over to Nick Scott to discuss more about FDA approval. Nick?
Thanks, JD. As JD mentioned, we plan on engaging the Emergo Group to be our FDA process approval advisor. Emergo has helped over 1,000 medical device startup companies achieve regulatory compliance. Based on initial conversations and meetings with the Emergo Group, on a worst-case scenario, Vitalung will be considered a Class 3 medical diagnostic and require pre-market approval before we can begin sales. Given this classification, and coupled with the fact that Vitalung is a non-invasive diagnostic, Emergo tells us that the FDA approval process could take 2 to 2.5 years and require 100 to 300 individual human clinical trials. We plan on engaging the Emergo Group to begin work on our pre-IDE submission in June, and they've already committed to the timeline that you can see on the screen. Now, along with engaging the Emergo Group, there are a number of other key milestones that we must achieve in order to bring additional value to our company. In 2013, we will focus our initial efforts on completing the human efficacy trial Dr. Fu is currently in the midst of, as well as raise our $3.8 million equity round. In 2014, Vitalung will be entering the human clinical trial phase of the FDA approval process. In 2015, we will finish the FDA approval process, followed by market launch in 2016, culminating with a successful exit via acquisition in 2017. Now, for those investors willing to participate in our $3.8 million equity raise, you can expect to receive a 45.8% ownership stake in VOC Diagnostics. Our fully diluted cap table can be seen by this pie chart. Now let's quickly run through the summary financials for VOC Diagnostics. Revenue is projected at $20 million in 2016, ramping to $37 million in 2017. EBITDA follows a similar growth trajectory, capping out at $6.8 million at time of exit. If you further break down our sales projections, the 185,000 Vitalung devices that we must sell in order to achieve $37 million in revenue equates to only 2.6% of the 7 million Americans considered at highest risk for lung cancer actually being administered the diagnostic. Given this extremely low market penetration, and coupled with the fact that we already have an initial indication of interest from New Century Health, an oncology benefits manager with over 2 million patients in their network, we feel very confident in sales projections. Now, after 2 years of successful sales, VOC Diagnostics will be an attractive acquisition target for a larger medical device company or a national laboratory. Given the cost pressures and headwinds facing the medical device industry brought on by impending healthcare reform, a number of traditional makers of diagnostic devices are looking for lower cost solutions to offer to their customers. Vitalung helps to fill that need. Based on current industry M&A multiples, VOC Diagnostics will have a $47.4 million terminal year valuation, equating to a 7x EBITDA multiple. At this valuation range, our investors can expect to receive a 54% IRR and a 7 times cash-on-cash return. So even though a cancer sniffy dog might be cute, he's probably not investment worthy. On the other hand, there's Vitalung. Non-invasive, highly accurate, cost-effective, simple to use, slobber-free, but most important, life-saving. Ladies and gentlemen, we are VOC Diagnostics, and we thank you for your time.